What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time taking the sky in the V.G.33C-1. The French aren't good at naming things. They're also not the best at building planes, at least so far. But more on that in a minute. Now, this time we are going to get right into the plane. This video is nothing except for the balancing of Tier 2 actual French forces. So, beginning on this dive on the Focke-Wulf 190, I'm not about to commit fully, so I do pull out of the dive. Now, before we go back into the gameplay, I do want to talk a little bit about the French forces so far. So far, their planes are decent, nothing spectacular. This plane you're watching is fully upgraded, so it has every single possible upgrade you can buy. And to be honest, it wasn't until I had all of the upgrades in which this plane was usable. The plane was usable before, sure, but not readily good. So, with this plane, you are equipped with 2,000 rounds of machine gun ammunition, small caliber, keep in mind I think they're 7.9s, and 60 rounds of 20mm Hispano cannon. Here's the problem: when you're fighting things like Focke-Wulfs and BF-109s, that's actually not much ammunition, so you have to use that ammunition very, very sparingly. Now, I see the C-202 above me. I'm going to go ahead and trade positions with this bow fighter just to get at least the main focus off of me. Now, here's the problem with this plane. And this is very, very rare with planes at this tier, but I swear to God, this plane actually performs better at higher elevations than it does lower. Now, I don't know a whole lot about French forces in World War II. In fact, aircraft, I didn't even know a name of a French aircraft until this update came out. So, French forces are very, very, very new to me. So just keep in mind while I'm flying these, if you know something I don't, feel free to post that in the comments down below. But for some reason, this plane is far, far better at higher altitudes than it is at lower. I'm not sure if that's due to engine performance at certain elevations. I'm not sure really what it's for, but just keep that in mind while flying this plane, that this is really an altitude plane. It would be easy for me to go down there and kill that 109, but it's just not worth it. Now, here's where I kind of run into a problem. We have the Beaufighter to our right, we have a C-202 and a BF-109 above us. Now, if those guys have energy on me, there is nothing I can do to them. The BF-109 is going to turn better, in my opinion, it has better guns. Now, the C-202, it's a little bit more of an even match, but still, it's not a battle I want to fight on level grounds. The thing about engagements personally in War Thunder is that I personally love to have the ability to call the shots. If you have the ability to choose whether to disengage or engage in a dogfight, you have the advantage. And you're not really going to lose unless you make a fairly remarkable screw up. So, just keep in mind, every single time you fly a plane, I'm not saying you know, what makes a good plane is the ability to do that. But if you have the ability to choose when to fight and when not to fight, that's how you typically want to win battles. So, I pull away from the 109. I don't want to be dove on by that guy. Instead, he's going to go over here next to my friendly 109, because War Thunder logic, and this BV bomber plane. Now, French forces so far aren't super popular, you know, in game, so you don't see a lot of them, personally, at least in the 15, 16 games I flew out. By the way, I did fly this plane probably about, you know, in order to get all the upgrades, probably like 10, 15 times, and then to get the extra footage I wanted, was probably about another 10 flyouts. So, keep in mind, although this actual video footage isn't super chaotic, it was a very, very clean cut game, and so there weren't a whole lot of things I did dangerously, just because I died quite a bit in this plane, because like I said, if you're at a disadvantage in this plane, you're truly at a disadvantage, and so it makes it extremely hard to come out of a disadvantage and get on top in terms of dogfights. So just keep in mind, while flying these French forces, make sure you keep at least some sort of you know, advantage, whether it's altitude, energy, turn speed. By the way, this plane, it handles decently, Like I said, it's nothing fantastic or, you know, to go home about, but truly, this plane is a decent energy fighter. Not much else. So, going for this 109, he decides to go up in the vertical in order to chase the 109. Now he's diving back down. Now, my goal here is to not waste too much altitude, but of course to get a kill, because the game is kind of winding down. This was actually a game where the German team actually kind of fell apart, which is rather strange. Now this plane is fairly quick in a straight line, especially at a decent altitude like this, so 410 miles an hour, not having a whole lot of issues maintaining speed. Now turn on WEP and go right up for this 109. For some reason he goes into the vertical, and you know, me being me, I do miss a lot of shots at first. The Hispano, however, does go to work. It's a decent gun, and I'm using universal rounds on all of my weapons. So just keep in mind what you're seeing is not stock built. But like I said, while you do have that cannon, it is fairly decent in terms of firepower. The 7.9s too aren't terrible. They do light things on fire fairly often at least. But really, that's the only way you're going to kill something like a 109 with small machine guns. So going back now it's a simple bomber find. We have an F4U and a D320 up. There's also a Junkers 87. And somewhere at a little bit lower of an altitude there is a second bomber. Now at this point, the Junkers 87 I believe is not an issue. It's not the one with 20 cannons. It's not the one with 20s. So really he doesn't pose a threat. I don't believe he has any bombs, and truly there's no way he can take out my team or 26 ground forces to win the game. So he's not much of a concern. In fact, at this point, the German team is pretty much toast. With the 109 F series, which by the way, personally I think is a far better plane than this plane, the 109s do have the ability to control the battle. So just keep in mind, while flying these planes, you're fighting secondary to those people. So, you know, you're not controlling the battle. Kind of let them control the battle and go after them when, you know, they mess up. So Junker 87 flying in a straight line. Yeah, the D320 is not too happy about what this guy's doing. He's basically just flying over his base, which is incredibly annoying. I'm going to dive on this HS-129. I figure with 26 rounds of ammunition, I'm going to have plenty of firepower to take him down. However, he decides that the ground looks like a far more comfortable option than the air. I don't know why. I think he actually bails and then hits the ground. But that is incredibly annoying. Guys, if, you know, I'm not saying faults on this guy. I don't know what actually happened, if he quit or, you know, his computer crashed or whatever. But don't ever bail out. You know you're going to die, yes, but just give the players who have waited this long a chance to actually get a kill. Either way, now you have to pay a repair bill, and no one else got the RP. So it's a lose-lose for everybody. So Junker 87 flying around, like I said, he's going to go land on his base, and this D320 will make a run on him. But before I end this video, I do want to wrap up the actual French forces so far. So far, I'm at the first first actual plane sets of Tier 3. I'm having quite a bit of fun. Of course, around Tier 3, Tier 4, most of the planes do turn into American planes, which I'm personally fine with because I love Americans. But we're going to see how that kind of shapes the game after Tier 3. It should be fairly interesting. You know, it's going to be a little bit different from French forces, so people that have never flown American planes may be a little bad at first, kind of like the people who go and start flying the MiG-15 bis after all the German planes. But I don't know. We'll see. You do have things like the F8F, the F6F. You even get the F6F with the 20mm, I believe. Yeah. So actually really decent planes. Although I'm sure because of where France was in World War II, that's kind of why Gaijin actually decided to put mostly American planes in their lineup. Now, of course, after that, you do get French jets and stuff, which I'm heavily looking forward to. It's actually the first time I've actually grinding out the bomber line, just to get to the jet bombers, which is not typically super common for me, because I do not personally enjoy flying bombers in the least bit. So, you know, first time for me too. So guys, to wrap up the video, the V.G.33C-1 is a pretty decent plane. It does need its upgrades for sure, but after that, you should have quite a bit of fun at least. So guys, thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.